Hi, I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. As a cis dude, I've never had an abortion. I've never been the cause of someone else having an abortion either. This makes me the least qualified person to talk about abortions, but the people who are qualified don't get listened to, so here we are. Abortion is the medical termination of a pregnancy. These can be done if the embryo or fetus won't survive birth, if the mother's life is in danger, if the pregnancy was caused by rape or incest, but mostly because the woman involved doesn't want to be pregnant. Why she doesn't want to be pregnant is really none of my business, and it's none of yours either. The decision is between her and her medical provider, not her government, not her spiritual leader, and certainly not an angry bystander with a sign standing outside a clinic. The controversy revolves around the determination of when life begins. But it's a manufactured controversy. It shouldn't be controversial. The core of anti-abortion sentiment comes from the religious segment of society, and they claim that life begins at conception. But that's not something that's supported by any religious tradition. Within the English-speaking world, a child wasn't considered alive until the mother felt the baby kick in her womb, something termed quickening. Before that quickening, abortion was completely legal, even in heavily religious communities. Even this view doesn't have any religious authority behind it. Rather, it was influenced by Aristotle, who isn't mentioned in the Bible at all. There is very little scriptural support for banning abortion at any point during the pregnancy, and the various deities people cite have been noticeably silent on the subject. Most of the objections raised by anti-abortionists are, I'll be blunt, they're lies. They are factually incorrect. They are willful distortions of the facts to advance a hypocritical agenda. Anti-abortionists talk about late-term abortions a lot, which is odd because late-term abortion is not a term used by medical professionals. Anti-abortionists claim it's the process of partially delivering a fully formed child moments before birth and then killing it, usually couched in vivid terms and with gruesome details to evoke an emotional response in their target audience. This does not happen. These people are lying. Another particularly vile practice is requiring doctors to inform patients that abortion causes cancer. This is blatantly false. Abortion does not cause breast cancer or any other kind of cancer. This forces doctors to lie in the course of their medical duties. This is rank hypocrisy from a group of people who have been commanded not to bear false witness. I'm a chemist. I'm outside my area of expertise here, which means I rely on the professional opinions of experts in the field, and not on quasi-legitimate charlatans pushing a political agenda. That said, this video is a lot more political than any I've done before. I won't apologize for that. Instead, I put the blame squarely on the people who've politicized a legal medical procedure with lies and underhanded tactics. I would love to talk just about cool and exciting science, but somehow we've ended up in this sinister dystopia where nothing is true anymore. I've been saying anti-abortionist instead of pro-life because these people are not pro-life. They're pro-forced birth. If they really cared about life, they'd ensure that expectant mothers have access to proper, comprehensive health care during the pregnancy and after birth. They'd ensure all of the children they're insisting be born were fed, clothed, housed, cared for, and educated. Instead, the same religious conservatives banning abortion are also cutting programs that provide all of the things I just mentioned, forcing people into poverty to try and care for children they didn't want. If they really wanted to reduce abortions, they'd ensure that birth control was free and universally accessible, and that women everywhere were empowered to take control of their own sexual and reproductive health. But it's not about reducing abortion, and it never was. It's about control over women. It's about placing the rights of a clump of non-sentient cells above the rights of an independent person. An embryo is not a person. It doesn't matter if it has a heartbeat. Heart cells contract on their own if you culture them in a petri dish. Nobody claims that collection of twitching cells is a person. That's abortion. It's a legal, routine medical procedure that is under attack from social conservatives in some regions of the US. Anything you hear said about it by those who want to ban it is most likely not true. Remember, these people are liars. If you live in the States and this matters to you in the slightest, you need to make your voice heard now before it's too late. Donate to pro-choice organizations, call your congressional representatives, participate in protests and marches, but most of all, vote. Vote, vote, vote. I know the Republicans are cheating. Vote anyway. Make them work for it. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.